July 2018, a high-rise boardroom in London. The air is thick with the scent of expensive espresso and desperation. A fountain pen hits a contract. $300 million in cold, hard cash changes hands. But the buyer didn't want stocks. They didn't want real estate. They wanted you. Or more specifically, they wanted the digital blueprint of your soul. 5 million human beings had just been sold like a crop of genetically modified corn. The product? Their deepest biological secrets, their predispositions to cancer, their ancestry, their very essence. And the kicker? The victims didn't just give it away for free. They paid $99 for the privilege of being harvested. Welcome to the DNA trap, a world where your most private information is the new crude oil. And the companies you trusted to find your family are actually the world's most sophisticated data brokers. Rewind 10 years. Meet Anne Wojcicki, brilliant, charismatic, the wife of Google's co-founder. She wasn't just selling a science kit, she was selling a revolution. 23andMe was the Silicon Valley darling that promised to democratize healthcare. Suddenly, everyone was an explorer. Celebrities were spitting into plastic tubes on national television. Grandmothers were finding long-lost cousins. It was the ultimate feel-good story of the digital age. Know yourself, the ads whispered. The world listened. By 2015, millions of people were sending their biological signatures through the mail. The brand felt like a friend, a mentor, a savior. Wojcicki was the visionary who was going to prevent disease before it even started. Venture capitalists poured billions into the hype machine. The stock was soaring. The mission was pure. The golden age of self-discovery had arrived. But while the public was busy celebrating their 5% Irish heritage, the board of directors was looking at a different set of numbers. They realized that the $99 kits were just a front, a loss leader. The real money wasn't in the spit, it was in the shadows of the fine print, and the trap was already beginning to snap shut. The spit was never the product, it was the bait. $99 didn't cover the cost of the sequencing. It didn't cover the overhead or the marketing. In business terms, it was a loss leader. The real business model was a silent, two-sided market. On one side, you pay them to give up your data. On the other side, they sell that same data to the highest bidder. It's called re-identification. They tell you it's anonymous. They tell you your name isn't attached to the file. But your DNA is the most unique identifier in the universe. It is the ultimate social security number. And by 2018, 23andMe had the largest database of human genetic code in history. They weren't a biotech firm, they were a data mine. The money started pouring in from the giants of the old world. GlaxoSmithKline, Pfizer, Roche. These firms didn't want to help you find your cousins. They wanted to build a genetic monopoly. The arrogance in the boardroom was palpable. They were the new masters of the human race. By 2021, the company went public via a SPAC at a valuation of $3.5 billion. The hype was at an all-time high. Wojcicki was on the cover of every magazine, but in the background, the math was starting to fail. The one-and-done nature of the product meant they needed a constant stream of new spit, but the world was running out of people willing to pay to be tracked. The growth slowed, the costs mounted, and for the first time, some users started asking questions about who actually owned their biological code. The first cracks were appearing in the glass, but the leadership didn't blink. They doubled down. They didn't see a crisis. They saw an opportunity to sell even more of you. The warnings were there. Internal emails began to circulate. Engineers whispered about the anonymization myth. They knew that with just a few data points, anyone could be unmasked. But the leadership had a different priority. The stock price was bleeding. The growth at all costs machine was starving for fuel. So they didn't tighten security. They loosened the valves. They opened the API. They invited more partners into the vault. But here is the twist that no one saw coming. They weren't just selling your ancestry, they were selling your future. The company began filing its own patents on specific human genes. If they found a rare mutation in your spit that cured a disease, they owned it. You provided the map. They claimed the land. And then, the ultimate betrayal. Reports surfaced that the data wasn't just going to scientists, it was being indexed by insurance algorithms. Shadow profiles were being built, calculations were being made on how much to charge you before you even got sick. The walls were closing in, the burn rate was millions of dollars a day. Investors were screaming. The CEO was doubling down on wellness subscriptions. They were trying to pivot from a genealogy site to a digital landlord of your biology. Every time you logged in, you gave them more, but the security was a house of cards. A single credential stuffing attack was all it took. One door left unlocked. 7 million people's most intimate secrets were about to be dumped onto the dark web. The world was about to find out that the DNA trap didn't just have a back door, it didn't have a roof, and the storm was finally here. October 2023, the sirens started screaming, not in the streets, but on the dark web. A database titled Ashkenazi DNA appeared for sale. Price tag, $1 per person. The house of cards didn't just fall, it vaporized. 7 million profiles. Gone. The hackers didn't want your credit card. They wanted your lineage, your susceptibility to Alzheimer's, your history of depression. Class action lawsuits hit the desks like thunderclaps. The stock price, once a $16 unicorn, collapsed to pennies. The ME ticker symbol became a tombstone. But look at the rubble. The CEO didn't go to a cell. She stayed in her mansion. The venture capitalists had already cashed out during the SPAC hype. The only ones left bleeding were the people who just wanted to know if they were related to a king. Instead, they became the ultimate product in a fire sale. Silence. The headlines have faded. The outrage has moved on to the next scandal. But the data? It never dies. It's been copied, mirrored, sold to shadow firms in jurisdictions where privacy is a foreign word. 23andMe is still here, struggling, limping, but still holding the keys to the vault. And the laws, they haven't caught up. In most countries, it is still perfectly legal for a company to sell your anonymized biological blueprint. Your DNA is currently sitting in a cold storage server. It is being used to train AI models you will never own. It is being analyzed by insurance algorithms you will never see. The DNA trap wasn't a one-time event. It's a permanent state of being. You cannot delete your blood. You cannot encrypt your bones. And as you sit there, scrolling through your phone, ask yourself, that smart device in your pocket, the health app on your wrist, are you the customer, or are you just the next crop waiting for the harvest?